Here is the catamaran that I built a couple of years ago. Since its construction, I've launched an Estes rocket from it. I've launched toy propellers off of it. And in its latest incarnation, we're launching what are called rocket balloons. So I made a mechanism that will blow up the rocket balloons and then release them. On board is a very inexpensive pump that's used to pump up car tires. This thing costs something like $6. It is one of the loudest, most poorly engineered devices you can imagine, but for $6 it actually works pretty well. You turn on the pump, it blows up the balloon. I have a mechanism here that then closes off the balloon, another mechanism that pulls it off of the tube that it's attached to presently, and then we launch it in the middle of a model boating pond. The front end of this catamaran has a lift that moves up and down. That was created primarily to launch a small little boat into the water, but it has proved to be very useful for picking things up. So after, for example, launching the propeller, I was able to easily pick it up with this lift, and now after the rocket balloon lands in the water, I'm able to fairly easily, it takes a little maneuvering, but I'm able to fairly easily lift the balloon out of the water and relaunch it. So here I'll show you real quickly how the mechanism works. The whole system is pretty simple and straightforward. I have this pump here that's the kind of pump used to pump up a tire of a car. I bought this, I think, from Banggood or AliExpress. This thing was only $6. It works, but it is incredibly loud. I don't know how they make something like this for $6, but still, it is very loud, but it works. To turn it on, I have a limit switch here that's attached to a servo. So when that servo horn turns about 90 degrees, it turns this limit switch on. Now, as far as the balloon goes, there's a tray here that holds a servo. This entire tray has a gripper that can open up and close around the neck of the balloon. So if we look at it from the top, you'll see there's a servo and it can open up and close around the balloon. Then to lift the balloon off the tube, this entire little wooden tray is lifted up, and eventually, if it goes high enough, it will hit a limit switch right there and turn off the servo. Now, the servo that runs it is a continuous rotation servo. You might hear it buzzing. This servo, the problem with these continuous rotation servos is they're very difficult to not get to rotate. They just seem to always want to rotate a little bit clockwise or counterclockwise. There is a potentiometer that you can adjust for the dead zone, but it doesn't work that great. But anyway, there's a spool attached to this continuous rotation servo. It goes to a string that goes over the top and then pulls the tray up. So we'll show you how that works. Once the balloon is released from the tube, you simply open up the gripper to launch it. To ready a rocket balloon for launch, all you have to do is slide the balloon onto the tube, make sure it goes through the open gripper, and just rest it on the side of this ring on top, and we're ready to blow up. Now the pump is turned on by this servo. When I flick a switch on my transmitter, it'll rotate this servo 90 degrees. It'll hit that limit switch and start the pump. It is incredibly loud, so beware of that. The balloon is starting to blow up, as you can see. I won't blow it up too much because it has a good chance of popping. At this point, what you do is you close the gripper. That's attached to another potentiometer on my radio. And with the gripper closed, we're now going to lift it off of the tube. That's done with that continuous rotation servo. So we'll do that now and see if that comes free. The continuous rotation servo is winding up that string, and it will pull it up. At this point, it touches a limit switch up here and turns it off, and now we're ready to launch. And to launch, all you have to do is release the gripper. So maybe I get it from this side. You'll see the gripper will release and the balloon will launch. And it takes off. Here's the pump that comes with the rocket balloon kit. Now, I noticed that originally I thought I was going to have to make a gripper that held the balloon onto this tube while it was inflating, because I thought it would just fly off if you don't hold it. It turns out that the elastic in the balloon is strong enough to hold on to the tube by itself. You don't need to actually hold it, which is great. Then to release it, I was gonna have like a little ring down here that was gonna move up the tube to release it like this. Now notice the balloon is rolling up, kind of like a condom. Now if you release the balloon like this, it doesn't make that farty sound. It has to be released with the balloon straight like this. So as a result, I had to pull the balloon straight off of the tube, and it's a little more difficult to do that than kind of roll it off. So that proved to actually be a little bit of an issue, but unless the balloon is like this, it's not going to make that cool sound when it flies. Here we are. Got the cart loaded up. We're on our way to Central Park. It is October 13th, a beautiful day in New York City. I'm going today, it's Sunday, I'm going today because it's, I don't know how many days are going to be left. I know they drained the model boat pond around Thanksgiving, so there aren't going to be that many beautiful days left. We're going to take Freedom Place, which is kind of a little back street. It's kind of empty of people, and we'll just start our journey to Central Park. Here I am, October 13th, New York City. There goes the bus. I'm standing on 70th Street. This is uptown looking at 72nd Street. That's the Ansonia Hotel. You can see up there with that kind of crown on top of the building. That's a famous building in New York. Anyway, on our way to Central Park. We have arrived at the model boating pond. What a gorgeous day. Oh my goodness. We're here mainly to test two things, whether or not we can launch those rocket balloons off the catamaran, and also how much the shell or the cowling we put around the motor. It's a little hard to see, but you can see it in there. There was a lot of vibration previously, so we'll see if that's helped. The vibration is significantly less with that cowling. You could hear it. Not bad at all. This is full speed. I think that's fast enough for what this boat was designed to do. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is blow the balloon up. So I'm going to turn on the pump. The balloon should blow up to a certain height. That's pretty good. Now I'm going to grip it closed with this switch. You can't see anything. Now this switch should release it. I think it did release, and now we're going to launch the balloon. Oh, it does! Inflate the balloon. That was funny. Ah, that was pretty good. We released the balloon now. Let's see how this goes. All right.
The winds are really not that good. I fish a lot. The more the wind is.
I'm gonna let her rip. Oh, that's not bad.
Oh, look at that.
So the first thing we will do is lower the recovery crane. We did get it. So how did our mission go? I consider it a big success. First off, the cowling that I made for the transmission really cut down on the vibrations. In addition to that, changing the 12-volt battery out to the lighter lipo cells also made the center of gravity of the boat just about perfect. It's very seaworthy now, and it works tremendously well. The other big question is, were we able to launch rocket balloons off of the boat? Yes, we were, and we were also able to recover them when they landed in the water. Now, how exciting is it to launch rocket balloons off of a boat? Well, that depends on the individual. There's something about these rocket balloons I have to admit I love. I love the sound they make. I love the randomness to their flight path. So when you let this go, you have no idea where it's going to go. It may go in the water. It may go for a pretty cool flight. And that's part of the fun of it. Now, what am I going to do next from the boat? I don't really know. I recently purchased these guys. The probably familiar with these little darts. They even have, this one even has little LED in it. So you turn on this little LED and you have the rubber band slingshot and you launch these things into the air. These guys actually go up very high, and again, once they land in the water, we should be able to recover them. But I don't know if anything's really as cool as a rocket balloon. Thank you all for watching.